Hello, my absolutely beautiful creative entrepreneur friends, and let me ask you something. Have you been thinking, I want to start my business, I want to start my practice, I want to coach people, I want to work with groupings, I want to share my creative gift with the world, but I'm also really worried that there's so many other people already doing what I'm doing. There's so many creative entrepreneurs out here that the market is saturated. There's absolutely no place for me. If that sounds like anything that has gone through your head or something that is sitting on your heart in fear and in worry, I want to make this video just for you because I want to share with you first of all, that is not true and how you can absolutely still build a beautiful and profitable business online, and I can help you. Met before, I'm practicing professional astrologer and business coach, Stormy Grace. And because I'm a creative entrepreneur, I now have my school, LAGATIAACADEMY, Academy, where I help other creative entrepreneurs to build and grow profitable businesses online so you can really leave a legacy and enjoy your creative talents to the fullest. So, I've been where you are. I have had these thoughts, and I want to take this time to share with you my business journey and my tips to show you that not only, is this idea that it's too saturated, there's no space for me, not correct, but also some steps you can start taking right now today during this video, right after you watch this video, to go ahead and build your profitable business. So first of all, I want to share with you, when I was 30 years old, I officially stepped out into practicing as a professional astrologer, and I did it ugly crying. I was scared to death. I just knew I had to do this thing. So it also means that I made a lot of mistakes along the way so that you don't have to, okay? I did the learning by educational variety for you. But I did want to share that when I was 30, I started my practice. By 31, I was able to fully let go of any other kind of work and be in my professional practice full time, making an income that I could absolutely live off of. Now, I didn't come into this. I came in with 2 children, with bills, in a doctoral program. I had real life going on. I had to pay those bills because they weren't going to stop coming because I decided I was an astrologer. But what I was able to do was create and build a profitable business online enough to replace my 9-to-5 income and actually live off of it. And I'm telling you, if I can do it, ugly crying, you can do it too, and that's exactly what I want to help you to do. So let me give you some of my tips that you can start using right now today to build your own profitable business as the beautiful creative entrepreneur that you are. Now, first of all, my very first tip for you is going to be stop watching other creative entrepreneurs, okay? If you're an astrologer like I am, or you do tarot, or you do song bowls, or you do breathing work, whatever your expertise is, stop watching other people. It's going to, at this particular moment, create fear in you. Now, even if you're at the point where you're just ready to grow your business to the next step, stop watching the people around you, okay? I know it's this place where it's like, I just want to go and get a little inspiration. Don't do that. Start where you are. And to start there, stop watching other people. Just come into your own space, which leads naturally and beautifully, I think, into step number 2, which is to remember that you just need to look at what you already know how to do to get started. So my number 2 step for you is to just start where you already know how to bring transformation into your own life. This is how you will build a profitable business in the first place. So in your own experience base, what do you know? What have you studied? And you started here, you were able to apply your system or your methodology or what you were taught and bring a result and a transformation over here. So looking back in your life, in your current practice, in where your skills have been, I want you to just go to where have you been able to actually bring transformation? And you've been able to do it more than once. Now, the other thing is, even if you are an astrologer, But in your life, you've had experiences where you didn't feel like you were applying astrology, or maybe you weren't applying astrology at all, but you were able to go from this pain point over here, apply a system or a set of steps, and come to an outcome over here. I don't want you to downplay your life experiences, because you've got something special in you that you know how to use or do to bring about transformation. So don't downplay what you already know, because it's going to be the thing that's going to help you build your profitable business, because it's going to be the results that you're able to deliver to someone else. So right here, let me just share with you, when I got started, I was not, I wasn't using the lunar phasing, and I wasn't using all of these cool technical things that I use today in my practice to bring about certain results. What I knew how to do was to just do what I was doing, right? I knew how to turn on a video camera on YouTube and start talking and bring together the aspects that I really knew, had a strong hold off of in my professional astrological life. And that's what I did. I started with just making content on the things that I knew. I knew how to teach. I knew how to explain that if you're wondering about this question over here, here's how you take those steps, and then you know how to do this on the other side. Prime example, I knew the lunar phasing. I knew it like the back of my hand. So I made a video that said, what are the lunar phases? I taught people what they were, what was going on in between each of the phases. And then at the end of the video, just like I promised them, they knew them too, or they at least had access to being not knowledgeable to knowledgeable. And that's it. That's the basis of what I did. Was I took my teaching skills, my willingness to turn on a camera, and then that's what I did. For the entire first year, is I just taught people like that. So for you, I want you to pause the video maybe even, or spend the week, spend a couple days thinking about it. What do you already today know how to do to take a situation from a pile over here that looks like a hot mess? You took some steps in the middle, and now you have a result. So all you have to do is start with that. And as I did that over time, I kept putting out videos and kept putting out content. And what happened to build my profitable business is, people started watching. Eventually, my YouTube channel got to the 1,000 subscribers, the watch time requirements, and I was able to monetize my YouTube channel. And you can do absolutely the same. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is to be able to replicate or explain the process by which you are doing something. Okay, so I told you that what I learned that I could do was teach. Essentially, I could take people, they didn't know something here, I could teach them the thing, how you apply it and what it is, and then bring them to the result of knowledge over here. So it made me a strong teacher. So this is the next thing you want to do, is to write it down. Get a piece of paper. How do you explain to someone how to go from, maybe it's a state of feeling really confused, and then you lay out your spread of tarot cards, or you play a particular note in your song bowl, or you sit in a certain posture with your breath work. And then because you do this process in the middle, then you're able to bring someone to the result of peace or calm or being more informed. This is really important, that you be able to write out your process that you've developed, how someone else can achieve that same result, right? Or that you can lead somebody through that, especially if you're thinking that you want to do coaching or you want to do consulting. As I moved to the coaching and consulting portion of growing my profitable business, and I brought that in, I needed to be able to formulate a way that I went through my consultations and take people from, I have a question about what my financiers are going to do this year. I used this process in here to get them to the result of understanding what was in their process over here. And it's important that you do the same thing too, because it's really great to say, I know how to do a thing. But then if you can't demonstrate consistently that you can use this particular method to get the result or the outcome, this is where you're going to have a challenge. It doesn't work like that in terms of business, especially building something that is going to be profitable. So once you figure out, oh, I do know how to take people from this to this, I want you to sit down with a notebook and just write out just a couple steps. Don't go into analysis paralysis. Just write down a couple steps of what did you do to get from here to here, and that you can say that again to someone else and be able to help them do that as well. Now, the next thing that you want to do when you know your methodology is you want to really seriously establish yourself as a brand, right? People have to know who you are. They have to know the symbols, the sounds that come with you and your brand as a company. So one of the things that I did is when I first started on YouTube and I was new and I wasn't even profitable yet, in that year that I was getting going, is that I was on YouTube and I would put a particular song in the beginning of my video. So people just knew if they heard that it was my video, it was coming on. So people became acquainted with just even knowing that that was my brand and that's how it was going to go. Now, the other thing I did where I was really developing my brand is that I showed up consistently and I showed up in a particular way. At the time, there was just a lot of really long form content going on YouTube. And a part of my brand has always been, I'm going to tell you what's going on. I'm going to be very helpful and specific in the astrological information I'm going to share, but I also do it a little bit more quickly. We're going to be getting to the point here. And that became very much so a piece of my brand. And I think it's really important, even before you have a whole bunch of clients or all the different products and services that you want to offer down the road, as you're just getting started today, figure out what your brand is. How do you want people to be able to identify you and focus in on that? Now, if you're looking to be a consultant or you want to do group coaching or something like that, this is also important as well because you want to brand your methodology as your own, so that when people are coming to you and they say, oh, when I think about working with Stormy Grace, I know that in her consultation, she really digs into the lunar phases and we go into the speed of where life is at. And that helps me understand, where I'm at in the season of my life, as opposed to people are not going, I want to go to Stormy to learn about Uranian astrology. I didn't brand myself that way. I don't use that process. I'm an evolutionary astrologer. I'm a humanistic astrologer. These are a part of my brand. So people know when they want to talk about the evolutionary development of themselves, they're going to come to me. So for you, I want you to think about this. What is your brand? What is your method that you're going to be able to say, this is the me way that I do this thing? And then you could also be just creating content that is useful and helpful around that brand, around the way that you do things. And it's important to understand to do this because one, it will keep you from creating content that you don't need to. Two, it'll let you create content, offer services that are really helpful and just in alignment with your brand. And three, it will stop attracting people to you who don't want what you actually have to offer, okay? So before I tell you, the next steps, I'm actually very curious. Please share with me in the comment section down below. Are you hoping to start your creative entrepreneurial journey this year? What kind of business do you want to start? What kind of consultant, coach, astrologer, tarot reader? What do you do? What is the type of business that you're engaged with? And tell me too. Have you already started your business and you're on your way, you're living your best life? You're like, Stormy, thanks for the tips. I'm out here growing. Or are you at the starting point, kind of shaking in your boots a little bit, feeling lost in the swarm and like maybe there's not enough space for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. I want to know who you are. I want to see who you are. I want to support the creative entrepreneurial vision and help you get started. Okay, now the other thing that you want to do, my next tip for you is after you've done that and you've gotten yourself sorted with how you're going to brand yourself, what your particular method is, this is where you can create some kind of offer, some kind of product, some kind of service. And then you get to kind of test it out. You get to go find some like guinea pigs. Now, I did this, and I'm going to tell you, maybe don't do it the way that I did it, because the first time it was a hot mess. I knew I needed to try out the way that I was doing my consultations. I needed to try out my method. And I wasn't actually thinking that anybody was paying a lot of attention to me. And so what I did, I'm telling you, please don't do this. What I did on YouTube is I said, okay, because this is something new that I'm trying, I'm going to put out a 15-minute reading for $15, and that's fine. The discount was beautiful, because more than what I was going to need from just people coming is I was going to need testimonials from them on how did it go? Did this work? It didn't work, right? But I also really needed to see in the middle if the way I was consulting was going to be able to lead to a repeatable result, right? So what I did is I put that out on YouTube, and oh my gosh, let me tell you what, it was a mess. I had so many readings, right? Because I also didn't realize the value of what I was offering. Now, I did a lot of readings, and I just want to pause and tell you this other mistake that I did. You would have thought I would have learned, but the first time I wanted to really try out something, I put it out on YouTube for free and inundated myself very quickly with 200 orders essentially that had to be filled. So I would also not suggest doing that. So okay, I put out the 15, a whole bunch of people came. I had to actually go in, turn it off, stop offering it, saying, okay, this is filled. But then what I did was I got to get a little bit of money and then really get a lot of client experience. So this is something that you can do. Figure out your own method, and it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to know that it's going to be 100%, but what you've got to do is get it out to people, especially people that are not your family, not your friends, have no investment in telling you how great you are. You got to hear it from the horse's little mouths, okay? So put something out there and try it on people. And then what you want to do is really, at the end of the experience, whatever it is for these people, have some kind of resource, app, something like that, for them to give you feedback and a testimonial on what their experience was, because you want that testimonial, not only so that you can start to develop your street cred and people can see who you are, what you are, how you get things done, right? But also so you know, which actually leads me to my next step, which is once you have those people in there and they give you some kind of feedback on the product or the service that you have offered, I want you to tweak and to adjust and to really investigate your product, your method. Did it work? And maybe this involves you taking a little bit more time, but if you're taking it seriously and you're saying, I got this feedback from this one client who said, when they got to step 3 of how I was consulting with them, they really got lost. They felt disconnected from the reading. They felt like they disconnected from the breath work. Whatever your service is, wherever there is a hang up, I want you to go back in with that client and say, hey, can I offer you this? And tweak it. Go with that client and tweak it. Offer them something, because what they are going to give you, you may be thinking, well, I can't give them another 15 minutes for free. Stormy, I don't have it. You do. You do. That 15 minutes of tweaking it and trying it again, or maybe you tweak it and then you put the offer out like mine would have been, okay, I'm going to offer you a 15-minute reading with this methodology. And this time though, it's going to be $20 because now I know that it does work. I just have some tweaking to do in the middle, right? So that's going to be that next step that you do, is to invest a little bit of time back in the feedback you were given to make sure that your coaching, your consulting, your video process, whatever it is that you're going to do, is able to be repeatable. So if you are able to do those things, then these are going to be exactly the steps that I took and I followed. And I'll tell you, in continuing to grow my business, I followed these steps over and over and over again. So I know that these steps actually work as well. And they are my steps and tips that I recommend for you to follow if you are serious and want to build a profitable business here online. Now, I get this question oftentimes, especially from astrologers, life coaches. I'm trying to think of another industry that I've heard this from. I spend a lot of time in astrology and that kind of world, numerologists, particular kind of practitioners. If it's really important that you have like academic credentials, or if you, especially in the realm of astrology and tarot, if you're certified, I get this question a lot in terms of coming out because the industry is saturated. And I'm going to tell you, I think that this is a little bit of a mixed bag question when we're dealing with creative entrepreneurship, and several things come into that. So I'm going to actually put that, I think, in my next video, where we will talk about what you need as a creative entrepreneur in terms of accreditations and things like that in order to come out and start building a business. But the short answer today is no, you just get started right where you are at. All right, beautiful friends, if you are serious and ready to get your business rolling, jump into my video series about how to get your business started in the next week, and I'll see you over there. Bye.